Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for over 43 years. I'm going through the text again this year, asking Jesus to clarify for me, and then I write from that clarity. And that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. We're reading from chapter 14, section 1, the conditions of learning. And today we're going to read paragraphs 3, 4, and 5. Paragraph 3, seeing is always outward. Were your thoughts wholly of you, the thought system you made would be forever dark. Whew, thank goodness that's not true. The thoughts and mind of God's Son projects or extends have all the power he gives to them. The thoughts he shares with God are beyond his belief, but those he made are his beliefs. And it is these and not the truth that he has chosen to defend and love. They will not be taken from him, but they can be given up by him, for their source of their undoing is in him. There is nothing in the world to teach him that the logic of the world is totally insane and leads to nothing. Yet in him who made this insane logic, there is one who knows it leads to nothing, for he knows everything. There's a difference between believing and knowing. I believe everything Jesus tells me, but I do not know everything he says. Thus, I study the Course to change my beliefs and practice what I learn so that it becomes what I know to be true as it becomes experientially known. Part of this practice is to pay attention to my thoughts so that I'm aware when I am believing the thoughts I made up as opposed to the thoughts I think with God. As I let go of the untrue thoughts that I have believed to be true, what is actually true becomes apparent to me. The world isn't going to help me with this. The world says I have a lot to worry about. It says I don't have enough and I'm not enough. It says that guilt is real and so is fear in all its forms. The world says that I'm justified in my judgments and in my anger. If I simply accept this, my life will be a roller coaster of emotions. I will suffer. I do suffer, but not as much as I used to. And that is because I don't believe my thoughts like I used to. And when I do believe something that is not true, I know what to do about it. That is why God placed the Holy Spirit in you and you where you place the dream, he tells us. I give the wrong-minded thought to the Holy Spirit to be corrected or removed. I absolutely know that this is what I will do, and I will accept his solution as well as I can and as quickly as I can. If I cannot accept his healing now, I know that I will get another opportunity to choose again. This is the reason I don't worry about it if the same situation pops up again. I don't make myself guilty for not accepting the healing. I just ask again and do my best to accept the Holy Spirit's healing this time. I know from long practice that at some point the healing is accepted. So, paragraph 4, any direction that would lead you where the Holy Spirit leads you not goes nowhere. Anything you deny that he knows to be true, you have denied yourself, and he must therefore teach you not to deny it. Undoing is indirect as doing is. You were created only to create, neither to see nor do. These are but indirect expressions of the will to live, which has been blocked by capricious and unholy whim of death and murder that your Father does not share with you. You have set yourself the task of sharing what cannot be shared. And while you think it's possible to learn to do this, you will not believe all that is possible to learn to do. So we are creation, an extension of God, eternal and powerful creators. We have forgotten all that because we chose to experience ourselves as separate and different from our Creator. We cannot know ourselves as our wish to be different, to be frail and mortal bodies, and still know ourselves as our reality, which is the sons of God. The Holy Spirit has a task of redirecting us so that what we have done is undone. I don't know about you, but I don't make this an easy task. Even now, when I accept that I don't remember what I am and that I do want that memory, I still balk at giving up what I made. It's total insanity. I see that as I judge someone, I only hurt myself, and yet I do it anyway. My saving grace is that I understand that going against the Holy Spirit is going against myself. I do have grievances, I just have none I would keep. So I generally notice these judgments pretty quickly and as quickly choose again. He also says you were created only to create, neither to see or do. Yikes, I was not created to see. I'm not sure how to think of that. If he means seeing with eyes, then yes, I get it. In reality, I don't have eyes. That would not mean that I was blind, though. Looking with eyes that do not actually exist as images that do not exist, well, that's not really seeing. I suppose you could say I am blind now. I like the word aware. Perhaps in my natural state, I'm simply aware. But really, I can't sustain a knowing of this because my mind keeps making images of what that would be like, and I'm right back to seeing. I will just take his word for this since there doesn't seem to be anything for me to do about it other than to realize that I don't really see now. The second part of the sentence, though, I was not created to do. I've always been a doer. I'm not comfortable in stillness. If I find myself with 5 free minutes in a day, I will use those 5 minutes to do something. I was created to create, he says. This translates in my mind as doing, and yet it must not be doing in the sense I have of it. This is the kind of thing that used to drive me to distraction about the course. I wanted to understand, but there's much I cannot understand. I've since learned to be comfortable with that. I remind myself that I know all of this and will remember it when I'm ready. Jesus says that seeing and doing are indirect expressions of the will to live. We have twisted this around so much it's made our goal impossible. How can murder and death express life? It doesn't even make sense. I murder myself every day as I continue to judge, defend, attack, and in other ways be something I'm not. I'm practicing forgiveness for those choices, and it's working. I'm moving toward my reality, even if some days it feels like I'm moving at a crawl as I oppose the Holy Spirit's guidance and healing. I'm so very grateful. I'm grateful to Jesus for this course and his help, and I'm grateful to myself for my willingness. Paragraph 5. The Holy Spirit, therefore, must begin his teaching by showing you what you can never learn. His message is not indirect, but he must introduce the simple truth into a thought system which has become so twisted and so complex you cannot see that it means nothing. He merely looks at its foundation and dismisses it. But you, who cannot undo what you have made, nor escape the heavy burden of its dullness that lies upon your mind, cannot see through it. It deceives you because you chose to deceive yourself. Those who choose to be deceived will merely attack direct approaches because they seem to encroach upon deception and strike at it. The reason I still struggle at times to let go of what is clearly hurting me is that I have made a world so twisted and so complex that I'm lost in it. I wonder at Jesus having extricated himself from this, and I'm amazed. Even with all the helpers provided for me, it still feels like a struggle at times. I do accept, though, that I did this to myself. We did this to ourselves, and the power that it took to do this can undo it. Those who choose to be deceived will merely attack direct approaches. I get this. I remember when I first started this study, it felt like my free will was being encroached upon. I resisted that. Even as it started to make sense to me, I resisted. My resistance showed up as not understanding. It's too hard. And I forgot. I couldn't even admit I was resisting. It is only in retrospect I see how enraged I was that God was trying to take my power away, or so it seemed to me. But the Holy Spirit kept gently guiding me into the truth by approaching this transformation indirectly. How he does this becomes clear as we read the next section. And now that we know this, we will see it in his teaching from now on. Jesus will teach through contrast, showing us how we feel now and how we feel after we follow his lead. He will teach us a difference between pain and pleasure. And if we apply that, what willingness we have, we will begin to gladly accept the Holy Spirit's gentle guidance. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back soon with another reading. I'll see you then.